What's up, everybody? It's your boy Al. Happy Tuesday. It is. I am on my way home, and I just thought I'd give you some more my random thoughts on my way home. This morning on the Breakfast Club, U.S. Congressman Byron was on, and he was talking about a few things. One of the things that he was pressed on, specifically by Angela Rye, was on his stance on reparations, particularly blacks receiving reparations, and why he's against it. He made some interesting points, but I want to tie in his points and really tell you why it's really not ever going to happen, why there will never be reparations for black people in this country. The congressman made some great points in reference to why would be so hard, particularly if you're talking about foundational black people, which they raised a point. Charlamagne and Angela raised a point about getting reparations to foundational black people. Who is foundationally black? How do you determine that? What blood test, DNA test, background dives are you going to do? Congressman Byron was specific, talking about the fact how, neither one of his parents are foundationally black, which raises a question: is he against reparations because he wouldn't get any, or is there something else? But the thing that he said in reference to why reparations isn't a thing, not only is it that it'd be too hard to tell who is foundationally black and who gets reparations. Another point he lifted was, how do you know in this country, how do you identify the descendants of former slave owners? How do you identify in a land that's got such a ethnic makeup now? How do you identify the descendants of slave owners? Because if you can't, who's gonna fit that bill? Who's gonna fit the bill for reparations? Who's gonna fit the bill, and who's gonna receive the benefits? And what are those benefits? I've heard several mathematicians give an estimation of what the slave trade did and how much black people are quote unquote owed for reparations. And somebody said, I was watching a documentary that said it's somewhere in the billions. I watched one documentary that said it's even somewhere in the trillions. We all know that's not going to happen. Okay, I think one of the things that we must understand, and one of the things that the congressman was trying to say in so many words without being mean or argumentative, is that really the time has passed for reparations. The time has passed for, if there was going to be a reparation given, then I think that should have been done maybe 100 years ago. If you were going to do that, they trying to do that now in 2024 is impossible. Not only is it impossible, but is it something that, even if you could identify the foundationally black people in America and say you're going to give them reparations, how would that be fair? And what I mean is this: how would that be fair to those who lived in a time where it really was hard for black Americans? I was watching a excerpt from the Dr. Phil show. That was this group of older black people, and they were talking about reparations. And this one older gentleman, he must have been in his 80s, mid to late 80s, and he was talking about how he doesn't believe that black people today should get reparations. And I was looking at the comments about people and seeing people calling him things like Uncle Tom or old coon or this or that and the other, but they didn't hear what I was hearing him say. When I was listening to him run down the things that they had to go through and the things that are going on today. What I was actually hearing him say was, there shouldn't be reparations today because you losers don't deserve reparations. We deserve reparations. When he was talking about the stuff they had to go through, the stuff that they did to lift themselves up, I think what the old guy was trying to say was, you young lazy bums, you young lazy punks who make all these excuses, y'all don't deserve reparations. And I think that's basically what the congressman was trying to be nice about saying, that the time for reparation has passed. There are too many people who identify as black, who are not foundationally black. The slave owners are gone. We don't know who their descendants are, if their descendants are still wealthy to this day. It's too much of a conundrum. And then he made another interesting point that California, overwhelmingly Democratic California presented a reparation bill and didn't push it any further, just let it die. And when they were asked about why they let it die, they just tucked tail and ran. They didn't give any explanation. They just abandoned the bill. And I think one of the reasons why they abandoned the bill, because they thought that basically it was mission impossible. But I think the reason why reparations won't happen is it has a lot to do with what the congressman was saying. It's a conundrum. We can't identify who gets it. We can't identify who's going to pay it. This country you'll basically be having taxpayers who didn't have anything to do with slavery fit the bill, which a lot of people would say, well, we're having taxpayers that didn't have anything to do with, the war in Ukraine and over in the Middle East. We're funding that. Taxpayers are funding that. So what would be the difference? The difference is we're not supposed to be doing that either. Two wrongs don't make a right. I'm totally against that. But I think the biggest problem is the two things. It's too far along. I think older black people are against reparations now because they look at the tough times that they went through, and they look at all the things that are at our disposal, and they see us just wasting those things. They see all the things that are at our disposal. Yeah, there's still some cities, there's still some of the cities in the country where things are really messed up. But let's be clear. With a lot of what was done in those communities, we had a lot to do with what happened in our own communities. Because a lot of people say, well, when crack infiltrated the communities, it did this, it did that. Yeah, but I mean, nobody put the crack in our hands and made us sell it. I don't know why, and I ask people this all the time, why didn't dope dealers and crack dealers, kingpins, once they start selling that, look at what it was doing to the communities, to the mothers and the daughters, and what it was doing to people, and just say, nah, I can't have no part of it. Look at what it's doing to our community. We take no responsibility for that. Yeah, it was something that was pushed, and when your back's against the wall, you're gonna do what you gotta do. But we never for 1 second looked at what was happening to our communities at that time, where our communities were being run down due to the crack epidemic, and said, nah, man, I can't push this. Look at what it's doing to my homeboy's mama. Look at what it's doing to my homeboy's sister. Look at what it's doing to, my family members. We just dealt it and, tried to get rich that way. And yeah, I know that there's still some recovery in a lot of black communities, but we have more at our disposal than ever before. I mean, that we own businesses. We own, whole neighborhoods where we're upper middle class, black communities. We own banks, not very many, but a few banks. We sit in high positions. We have hundreds of multi-million-dollar athletes that we've never had before, with salaries and these new deals rising in every sport. The money just keeps growing and growing and growing. So we're producing all these black millionaires and now black billionaires, and we have all this at our disposal, and we can go to any college we want to now, where in the past we couldn't do that. We have all these careers at our disposal, and in a dispensation like this, there are a lot of people who believe, and there are a lot of older black people who believe, with all that is at your disposal as a young black person, why in the world would you ever get reparations? We should have got reparations for all the stuff we went through, getting the Jim Crow South, and having dogs sicked on us, and not being able to eat in certain restaurants. You're a black person now. You can go to pretty much any restaurant you want. Yeah, I know there's still some places in the country that act a fool, but you have the advantage as a black person, the privilege of missing those places and go and find you somewhere else that's super fancy and nice, that'll be more than happy to earn your business, treat you like a king or a queen. But a lot of black people who grew up in America when it was really rough feel I should have, or my mother or my grandparents should have gotten reparations with all they went through. You youngsters with all of this at your disposal, y'all don't deserve reparations. And I think a lot of them seeing young black people cry for reparations points to something that I've heard older black people say a lot about young black people, and that's that y'all are lazy and y'all are looking for somebody else to do. One of the things that older gentleman talked about, he talked about how when things got rough on them, they pulled together, they didn't whine or cry, but they did for themselves the best that they could. Yeah, there was things all around them. Yeah, there was Jim Crow going on. Yeah, there were a lot of discrimination, but they pulled together and they did what they had to do. And I think one of the things that a lot of black people think, I think that one of the things that, you know, a lot of people my parents' age, my mother's age, my father's going home now, my mother's age, I think a lot of people, black people that are their age, think that a lot of younger black people want reparations because they just want a way to get what's easily accessible if they just work for it. I think a lot of young black people want reparations or crying for reparations because it's easy for them to cry for it, and they don't want to put forth the effort to get the careers that are out there. Whether you're college is for you or college isn't for you. I know I have friends, you know, that have trades that are making money hand over fist. They didn't have to go to college. They're still making money hands over fist, starting their own business, making money hand over fist. When older black people see young black people crying for reparations, it represents for them somebody who don't want to work for it, and it also represents for them people who don't want to come together as a people and do for ourselves. It's easier to cry for reparations, to ask for something for somebody else, when you look across the street at the black man or the black woman living across the street and you don't want nothing to do with them. If a black community full of black people came together, put our resources together, we wouldn't need reparations, because there's enough resources in the black community. But when we come together, we can lift our own selves up and not have to have a single penny from the government or anyone else. Therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem. We don't want to get together. We don't want to work together. We don't want to, you know, we're our own worst enemy at times. We don't want to celebrate one another. We don't want to work together. We don't want to put our money together. We don't want to grow together. We want to grow and then go back to the people who haven't grown and then show up in front of them and show them what we've done and what we have. Stand over them. Show them how we made it and they haven't. We don't want to come together. So I think, again, a lot of older black people see young black people and what we could have if we just work together, get up off our butts and work together, come together and lift up our own communities. They look at what we could do and they say, why are y'all crying for reparations with all that's at your disposal? We couldn't open restaurants like y'all open up, and fancy restaurants and luxurious restaurants, fine dining restaurants and establishments are opened by black people today. We can open up hotels and the businesses that y'all open up, and you know, we didn't have millionaires and billionaires to this degree that all know each other, can come together. We didn't have, you know, we had athletes in our day, but we didn't have athletes making, you know, $300-400 million contracts. You know, hundreds of them making $100, $200, $300 million contracts. We didn't have that in our day. Y'all have all of this and y'all crying for reparations. So I think some older black people are just offended. I think the congressman was just, you know, saying it in a nice way. And then also there's there's another reason why I feel we won't ever get reparations. Somebody asked me, why did I think we deserve reparations? I said that, you know, that's a complicated answer. It's a complicated question with a complicated answer, but I said we'll never get reparations. They said why? I said we'll never get reparations because we have no way to get it. They said, what do you mean? I said, answer this question for me. If America decides to never ever give black people reparations for slavery, what are we going to do about it? And I sat there waiting for an answer. Nobody could give me a specific answer. And what I meant, what are we going to do about it is, what are we going to do to encourage America to give black people reparations? What are we going to do? What kind of power will we wield? Because historically, one of the ways that black people have gotten any movement from the establishment is if we present the establishment with a repercussion if they don't move on our behalf. Best example, the Montgomery bus boycott. Sister Rosa had to get off the bus because she didn't give a white man her seat. Black people in the community didn't like it. White people said, what are you going to do about it? Black people said, we're not going to put the money on the bus. Black people took their money off the bus, got on buggies, got in wagons. The establishment was losing money hand over foot from the Montgomery bus boycott. The establishment came and met black people where they wanted to be met. Why? Because black people made them pay a price for not honoring what they said honor. So the question that I have is, knowing the history of the Montgomery bus boycott and what it's taken to get the establishment to move on the behalf of the black community, what is the black community going to do? What price can the black community present that will make the establishment pay if they don't provide the black community with reparations? Nobody answers the question. I know the answer, but nobody gives the answer, either because they don't know or they don't want to do. We don't want to do what the answer would be. The easiest way to get reparations, if you really wanted to get reparations, and I still think it'd be a long shot, is if, again, like the Montgomery bus boycott, if black people presented the establishment with a way to make them pay. That's how things get passed. A lot of black people will say, well, how did the Asian hate crime bill get passed? Because the Asian community can present the establishment with a way to pay if they don't. The Asian community can withhold their money from the establishment, go to their Chinatown restaurants, their Chinatown establishment, their Japanese district restaurants, their Japanese district established businesses, and not put a single dime in middle America. And they're backed by their home lands. A lot of them, China, Japan, a lot of them are backed by their homelands, that if they see their people not being taken care of, they can stifle America as well. Again, price to pay, results happen. So as a black community, what price can you make America pay if they don't give us reparations? What are you going to do about it? I'm not asking for black people to do anything violent when they do that, but what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do if they don't? If America just came, if the President of the United States got on the microphone and say, we will never ever give you reparations, there's nothing you can do about it, stop asking, we will never talk about this again, we'll never present this again. What is black America going to do to make America change its mind? The easiest thing black America can do to make America change its mind is to take its the most powerful dollar in the United States of America, the black dollar, to take its dollar and put it specifically only into black businesses, black establishments. That would do it. That would get the discussion going. We pull our dollars out of Louis Vuitton store, out of the mall, off Amazon, out of Papa Do's, out of establishment that we don't own, and put them only, take all the money that we spend in the establishment, the trillions that we spend, and take it out of the establishment and spend it only with the black community. Do you know what kind of conversations that was sparked? Herein lies the problem. We don't have the discipline to do that. You know why we don't have the discipline to do that? Because we hate one another. We not going to spend money in this black clothing store when I gotta go get my Louis Vuitton so I can show people that I made it and that I got my money together and that I can wear this kind of fancy stuff. I'm not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. And that's the reason why anytime I ask black people what are we gonna do about it, they elude that answer, or they avoid that answer, because we know as a community we're not gonna do that with one another. You know why? Because it creates too much discomfort. Because we don't understand that the only way change has ever happened in this country is that there was some discomfort that sparked change. Think it was comfortable to put Big Mama on a wagon, Aunt Bernice and Aunt Gertrude on a wagon, a horse and buggy, going down the street, and we could have easily got them on the bus. That wasn't easy, it wasn't comfortable. But it was done to spark a change. We're not going to do anything that makes us uncomfortable. To have spark a change, we're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. We're not putting ourselves in that kind of discomfort. You mean to tell me I can't go to the Louis Vuitton store? I can't wear Gucci? Can't wear Prada? Can't wear whatever newest fashion is? I can't go to the upscale white-owned restaurant? We're not going to do that. And not that I think that we should. Because we've worked hard to be able to go and do business anywhere we want to go, work and go and do business. So we shouldn't do that anyway. Because I've been to plenty black establishments here in Houston, restaurants and stores and whatnot, that all kinds of people are there. White, black, Hispanic, Asian. One of my favorite places to go in Houston is the Breakfast Club. One of the greatest places in Houston. You walk in a Breakfast Club and it's everybody there. So the question will be fired back in somebody's face. If black people stop going to everybody else's establishments, then what if everybody else stopped going to black establishments? You'd have this whole conundrum. So overall, the reparations thing, it'll never happen. I understand that the Jews receive reparations because the Jewish community can make America pay a price. And that didn't even happen over here. They're still receiving reparations. Problem with us, and the reason why we will never receive reparations, is because we can't put ourselves together to give America something to say, we better do this, or they'll feel it like, we won't do nothing. They know we won't do nothing. We won't do nothing. The fact that we won't do nothing was never made more clear than when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, pretty much got blackballed from the NFL. He took a knee on behalf of black people. He's not even black. He took a knee on behalf of black people, seeing what's happening with black people. He lost his career on behalf of black people. And what did we do? Not a damn thing. Tweeted and commented and Facebook and social media and Instagram. We didn't do anything. If that was our predecessors, they'd have turned in their tickets, turned the TV off, they'd have hit the NFL in their pockets. But us, oh no, we're not missing the sorry Cowboys game or the Texans game. We're not. Somebody stand up for us, lose their career for us. Oh no, we're not doing nothing. We're not. Oh, sorry, Colin. I'm going to this game. Sorry, gotta watch my Cowboys lose again. Sorry. We didn't even think about that. So I would, on another subject, you don't be hard pressed. I won't be hard pressed if you never see another athlete stand up for a black cause again. Not in that capacity. Seeing what happened to Colin Kaepernick, now we did nothing on his behalf. Nah. So yeah, the reparations thing is dead. All of these plants like Angela Rye and Charlemagne the God, who by the way didn't need reparations or affirmative action to get where they got. They went to school, they got their grades, they accomplished what they accomplished, they got promoted. Angela Rye is a successful attorney, Charlemagne is a successful author and DJ on one of the most successful radio shows in America. He didn't do that with reparations. He didn't do that with affirmative action. He didn't do that with any handouts. These are black people who pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and made it in America. Black people who are my age, but yet they want to tell all the other black people, you need reparations, you need this, you need that. So what they're basically telling us, other black people, is you're not as good as me. You need help. I didn't need help. I'm the brilliant Angela Rye. I didn't need reparations or help. I'm the brilliant Charlemagne. I didn't need reparations or help. But the rest of you dumb Negroes, y'all need reparations and help. And I don't understand why people who are as successful as them, who made it to the point they made it on their merit, always try to push this kind of stuff to the rest of us like we're stupid and slow and can't get there like they got there. Just a little something to think about. So yeah, reparations, I don't think it'll ever happen. Just a few thoughts on my way home. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. It's your boy Al. Holla back.